Alright. What's up, everybody? We are here with a banging Terran versus Protoss series straight from DreamHack Masters Valencia. We've got Clem in the bottom left side of Data C. It's a best of 5 match with him facing off against none other than herO in the far right. Now, herO has opened up by sending a one of his very first probes across this map. Problem for him, it's such a big map, it doesn't get here that quickly, so he's unable to block the barracks going down. Nonetheless, going to be a nuisance. The SCV actually pathed a little bit funny there, and he does have to pull an extra SCV. Does Clem, already taking a fair bit of damage. herO avoiding getting hit by this SCV, which means you can see his shields have already started regenerating. One of the most annoying players in the world. I remember the French players, or the French commentators over at O Gaming used to always rave and rant about how herO was the only Protoss in the world smart enough to actually just utilize how annoying a probe really can be in the early game in PvT. But he's going to be going Nexus before Cybercore behind it. Nice greedy opening behind this. And already has those 3 workers on gas. SCV's down here. Now, obviously, the probe wants to block, but he knows that the Terran doesn't have 400 minerals. Oh! Clem with a bit of a surround! And that means he's not going to be able to block this at all. hero's still hanging around, but notice how Clem, as he hits 400 minerals, instantly can put that command center down as the probe had already lost its hit point. So the real trick there, the dance is, as the Protoss player, you want to come in and block this just as he gets the money for the expansion. Because this was a gas first opening, I think, was it? Actually, it wasn't a gas first. No, oh, okay, it's just because he did both an SCV scout and he lost a bunch of mining time to the probe. That's why the command center was delayed by quite a few seconds, to be fair. You can get it down to about 1:39, 1:40 with some build orders, but in this particular scenario, it was more like 1:46. Factory does go down behind that for Clem. His second depot's a little late, so he is missing a little bit of SCV production. Not the most perfect opening. On the other hand, grabs a probe, which decides to throw down a random pylon in the middle of the map. If that isn't the most herO move I've ever seen, honestly, I don't think it even serves a function. Yeah, he cancelled it as well. This is classic herO mind games, guys. He's like, oh, look, it's a pylon! And of course, Clem is going to go back there and he's going to scout and say, yeah, that made no sense, dude. Why did you just waste some minerals to do that? herO, of course, chaotic rather than perfectly efficient. He is all about his madness and his unpredictability, and he wants to use that to his advantage. herO known for being, you know, wildly greedy into the late game sometimes, where he'll just get every single type of splash damage unit, but sometimes completely all in as well. Clem, on the other hand, I think his comfort zone is if he can just play a completely standard TVP. I really put Clem and Cure in the same boat, in that they're 2 Terran players who are fantastic, but they're not quite as good as, say, like Maru in the end game. And so whenever I watch them play, I feel like they're much more confident when they're able to just do the most generic and standard build order. They really don't want to have to adapt too much in terms of like really flipping over backwards, doing all sorts of limbo, ultra flexible adjustments to deal with what a Protoss throws out. So for him, if he can get away with really standard play, I think he'll be happy. And he scouts, he sees the Twilight upgrading, he sees extra gateways, he can assume this is probably Blink play. Hellion's going to go in the natural at the same time. Ooh, he already gets 1 of these probes. If he could get another 1 or 2, that'd be pretty good, but no. Stalker's pushing back, Hellion will withdraw. And it's a Raven into a second barracks. I mean, talk about stock standard play for Clem, right? Raven is just a good utility unit. He's going to get the second barracks, the third barracks. I wonder if he goes for 1 or 2 siege tanks before swapping the factory off the tech lab. I don't think he'll stay on the tech lab, just because it gives you much less mobility up against heavy Zealot styles, which is the standard at the moment in the meta. herO, his third's really not that quick. He's going for a third gas. He's now sending a probe out over here to think about securing that. He has a single stalker going across the map. There's no Widow Mine drop or anything like that in this game. There's no real heavy pressure coming out. And the starport, of course, preparing tech labs for these barracks. It looks like he may actually lift that factory. Nope, second siege tank is on the way. I think you'd be kind of crazy on this map to not get 2 siege tanks, because look at how much area there is for stalkers to blink in. There's a lot of space to cover. So he's got a tank here, which kind of covers a little bit on the high ground, helps defend the natural. And then you want to get another siege tank maybe up here, or maybe just below this barracks, just to help defend that main base and secure your production area. We can see hero's going to come in. It's a very light pressure so far, but herO, 4 stalkers enough to one-shot Marines. He gets 1 Marine, 2 Marines, And gets a volley off on the Raven. Quite valuable there. Anything you can do to damage the Raven. But herO still no third base. And he actually goes double Forge and Robo Bay before going for a third base. What the heck is this build? Kills an SCV that was out front the base, spotting there. Tries to blink in, but the siege tank there. And a very quick, he pulls the SCV off the refinery, does Clem. Pulls it away. Really well done. Does lose this other SCV, so nonetheless, some worker kills are going in. I mean, cost for cost, it's like, hey, you only lost one Stalker. That's good trades. Yeah, it is, but your third is so late here. And this is such a fascinating and bizarre build. 1-1 upgrades and Colossus after blink. I mean, I don't know. And 2 sentries coming in. I feel like herO here is doing one of his own weird little build orders. And the real question is, what's he going to have to defend against the big push of Bio Tank? Because that's going to be coming very soon. We've got all these upgrades lining up. They're all finishing in about a minute's time or less, which means that's going to be a good attack timing. Raven auto turret only gets a single probe, does damage a few of them. Clem will have to hide that in the dead space and wait for later. He's starting to move out right now. He's got 1 tank on siege. He's left the other tank at home. Big mistake for Clem. He's forgotten about one of his siege tanks here. Rookie mistake. He's moving out. He's taking his third on location. Now behind this, there is a Colossus on the way. It's not going to have the Viagra upgrade, the +2 on the range. There is an Immortal and some force fields. His probe does see the army coming, and he does actually pick up this other tank and boost it out as well. Okay, so he's building cannons, batteries. He's got a force that's just so small right now. herO needs a moment of time. He needs this Colossus over here so he can shave these units off. But with 2 siege tanks, if they get in position, it could be a problem. That being said, 2 batteries and a cannon. Gonna add some real buff firepower to this. Battery overcharge going down. Perfect positioning for herO to begin the hold. But his tank... the tanks are just out of range of the Immortal for now. The sentries are starting to fall. The Colossus needs to be focus firing those Marines. No focus fire on the Colossus right now for herO. herO with a pretty good hold to start things off, though. He really, I think, could have continued there. And if he killed that tank with the Immortal, just 1 or 2 more shots with the Colossus on the Marines, I think herO should have stayed and fought there, to be honest. Clem doing a bit of a tactical retreat right now. Very nice play by him. He's just trying to scare him back. Thinking about taking... okay, spotting pylons. That's a good move. On the other hand, though, Clem's got a double drop going towards the main, and this is the problem with not cleaning this army up. He hasn't actually got many units in the main yet. He's warping in some Stalkers and a battery, but it's not ready just yet. Uh-oh. This is where you're going to start to see a bit of trouble for herO. That main base, he doesn't have many units there at all. He's trying to make Zealots, but remember, he doesn't have charge. He's got 1 Colossus coming back here. That will help deal with it, but oh no, the Warp Prism does take a Widowmine to the face, and it is, of course, very bruised. There's no units left? Where's his army at? Where the heck did he pull? Oh, he F2'd his whole army! herO with a classic mistake, F2ing his entire army in panic. We know that he doesn't use control groups very much, but that is such a bad move. He lifted a Colossus up there. I assumed the other one would be over here with a pack of units to defend, but he lets him get back in. Meanwhile, oh, Clem gets a bit overeager, goes in, does lose a medevac for his trouble. He's forgotten about the Raven, I believe. If you could get some auto turrets on that natural, that would be big. Right now, economically, Clem is in a great position. He's got equal workers. He's got map control. Problem is, of course, the fact that 1-1 is finished. The Protoss being ahead on upgrades can be a huge issue, especially if herO can get just enough money to start 2-2. But of course, his gases weren't up. He's retaking them now. His main base is a little lower on probes than you might expect at this stage. And this is a map where you do get very spread out as you expand to all of these areas of the map. So a Widowmine drop on that side. We've got just some Marine spotters over here as well. A Widowmine drop, a very low investment for big potential damage. Very nice auto turret coming in. That's going to get a few workers. Does that distract enough to go in with the Widowmine drop? Apparently not. But hey, 4 workers, not bad. That Raven's just going to hang back there being a nuisance the whole time. But here we go. Zealot counter drop for herO. He's got his +2 armor on the way behind this, so he is continuing that upgrade advantage. But Clem's getting into a macro game, adding ghosts in a 4th base. So herO, you want to not throw these units away at the same time. Oh my god, Vikings are hot on his tail. Run, 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 run. He's got to get these Zealots unloaded if possible. Okay, it looks like the Warp Prism will barely escape those Vikings. Remember, it is 3.85 versus, I think, 4.13 move speed on the Prism. So it is slightly faster. We'll be able to unload those Zealots and get out of there. But great map control and vision for Clem. Check this out for vision. He's got Marine spotters. He sees the entire map. He's got the watchtowers. And that army is building up for him. He's got the 2nd Engineering Bay in the Armory, so he's not just leaving his upgrades stuck at 1-1 for the entire game. He's still got this threatening up there. And he's already going into Vikings. So he's got 4 Vikings about to be, or 5 Vikings going up to 7. And there's 3 Colossus out going into Immortals now for herO, but with no Disruptors and no Psystorm, you've got to say that there's a very scary moment where the Terran, if he can just EMP your army and then just have enough Vikings to deal with the Colossus, ooh, it's really very, very hard for the Protoss player to win those battles. Now, these Stalkers are getting... Oh, they're going to get cornered potentially. Gets a Ghost, does he? Oh, good recall. He'll only lose... Oh, good EMP. 1, 2, 3. Looks like 3 Stalkers go down. Could have been worse, so it was a good recall for herO. He's got an Observer up as well, giving him great vision. He's got Zealots ready to run by this base. Big army coming forwards on that right side. +2 armor should be ready in time, but he needs to chrono those upgrades. He really needs to chrono those upgrades. Widow Mine Drop did come in, and it looks like herO does manage to deflect it without too many probe losses, but double auto turret's going to come in and smash through those probes. They need to pull away. That shield battery will run out of juice very quickly, but it does keep a lot of the workers alive for now. Stalkers pick off 1 or 2 Vikings. Colossus come forward. It looks like a good angle for herO. A nice Guardian Shield on the left side of that battle. The Colossus doing very well. Oh my lord, a great fight for herO. And I feel like after a dicey few minutes of this mid game, he clears up the tanks. He gets rid of most of the bio. If Clem can get these medevacs out of here, that will be big, but he's losing a lot of Vikings on the retreat. And herO, of course, only losing a few Zealots as he chases him down. Happy to throw those units away. If he can get rid of another Ghost, that would be huge. But good pullbacks by Clem. He even gets one of the Colossi. Perhaps herO's chasing too far now. herO may need to put it back in his pants for a moment. For those who don't know, herO has always had a big problem with that, you know, keeping it tucked away. herO's got a scary army. It looks like he's going to go for an all-in push, though. He still has not taken a 4th base. These auto turrets are hammering him. With no 4th base, a 3-base Protoss does not have much longevity in this game. The auto turrets coming in. It looks like the Raven is getting F2'd home. That tells you that Clem realizes, okay, I just need to defend. I just need to survive because I know I'm up a base on a Protoss player. I've also got my upgrades that'll be catching up in under a minute's time. He's in a very good position right now, is Clem, if he can hold, and it seems like herO unable to find a way in right now. The Vikings are just very important at zoning out these Colossi. The Immortal Archon's struggling to actually get on top of the bio. And, oh, he's going for it. herO's just going for it. You can see the way he's spread. But an amazing EMP on the Colossus, most of the Stalkers. A few more EMPs on the Archons, also setting off the Immortal barriers. The Immortals are not going to be tanky. The Colossus are getting hammered. Oh, my God. The bio army does take some big Colossus splash there. And, oh, the Stalker's just going to blink forward. The Immortals trying to close in on top of the Ghosts, and the Marines are actually tanking quite a lot. The Vikings landed. The full bunker on the left side of the fight helping out. Even this Viking could land any little bit of firepower. It's just about surviving right now for Clem. The Widow Mine's a godsend for him in this desperate scenario. And it looks like herO there with just such a weak reinforce. The SCVs get pulled. The Stimmy boys inject their drugs. They run on down there. Guns are blazing and they gun down that army. Remember, this was basically an all-in attack. So herO is now completely dead. And he does have to tap out. GG. All right. Let's go game number 2. Let's see if herO can bring it back. He was actually playing pretty well. A very bizarre build order. I think there was just that moment where he needed to crush the push on the 3rd and get back to his main a little earlier. I think if he did that, his build order actually could have looked okay. But when you're going double forge like that, Stalker, Blink Stalker, Colossus double forge, you're just so vulnerable. And he, right at that vulnerable point, he got picked apart by the multi-prong. So unfortunate game 1 for herO, but we know he's an absolute beast in this matchup. Very decisive, and he's very good at like attacking and winning when you don't really think the Protoss should be winning. So I'm not going to be counting him out too early. It is a best of 5. We're going into Moon Dance, and Clem is going to be coming in with an SCV scout. I like the respect for Clem. I mean, yes, he's already committed to the command center, but he sees the gateway here. He saw that it was like Nexus before Cybercore again, and he's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. You know, that makes sense. Often I would expect Stargate if I was him. Personally, it was Blink in the last game, but I would expect herO to open Oracle or Phoenix here. And indeed, there we go. Stargate does go down. So yeah, the reason is Stargate's just so popular right now, whether it be Oracle into Blink or some other style. It's just so popular. If he can get in and get the scout, that would be huge. And the Adept pops out, but he sees the Stargate. I'm pretty sure he, being Clem and as quick as he is, he probably clicked on it, probably realized what that was. You can also tell just by the shape of the building, and he barely gets away from the Adept. Very well done. Do not want to be losing that this early. Is he going 3rd CC? What? Oh my God, guys, he's doing a TVZ build. He's going Barracks Factory, and then he's just going straight for a 3rd in the back. Oh man. Guys, there is greed, and then there is what Clem is doing in this game. Now, Yeah, he's going to go straight Cyclone. So when you do a build like this, you want to get a Cyclone because it keeps you safe. The Reaper tries to fight the Adept because Clem has crazy micro, and he's one of the few people who can do that without getting hit. Technically, you have one more range than the Adept. That is not something that's very solid. It's very fragile. Most people would lose the unit, but he manages to defend for now. We've got Marines on the way. The Cyclone started, and as long as... The thing is, if this Oracle was proxied, this is not that fast a Cyclone. It could get in and do big damage, and suddenly the opening is weak. But against the opening that herO is doing... I think what Clem's done here is perfectly greedy. It's like, it's just the right amount of greed. The Reaper's going to get in there. It's going to grab at least one probe. He's going to go into the main, which is awesome for him. The Adepts, though, are doing good damage. They've already got one Marine. They're going to get another Marine in a moment. And, oh, look at that split focus fire. Very nice there. But the Reaper is still doing damage. Oracle comes in, grabs a Marine. He needs to lock onto the Oracle, and there we go. You can see he moved down and manually locked just to make sure he didn't lock onto the Adept. Realizes the Oracle's going to go down, so herO gets a Mule, gets an SCV. I think the Reaper fell as well. Indeed, it did. So at the end of the day, you've got 5 SCVs going down. Seems pretty bad, but losing the Oracle is also pretty bad. And remember, this third Nexus has just started. That third command center is already finished. So... Ooh, this is very interesting to see. And the Cyclone's even pressuring. Big balls play from Clem here. Just grabs a probe. He will get punished for that. So, obviously, you can't kill it with a single Phoenix in a lift. But with the Adept coming forward, another Phoenix and a Stalker. Looks like Clem got a bit too horny there. And definitely not worth the single probe kill. Losing a Cyclone and 2 Marines. This is going to open up the chance for the Phoenix to harass him. Pick off a lot of SCVs. But interestingly, he sent the Phoenix home, which tells us he's maybe worried about a Widow Mine drop. He still has no idea that this is 3cc. And he should realize now, that's really obvious, because you're like, hey, where's the starport? What's going on? So I think even without seeing the command center in the back, he now realizes, and he should absolutely be flying his Phoenix over and picking up SCVs as quickly and frequently as possible. You don't want to lose them with 2 Cyclones already being on the map, but I think you got to do some damage, and you got to hold that probe key down. So herO can't have any gaps in his probe production in this next minute or two. And he's going to be going Robo, Twilight, extra gateways. He's still building Phoenix as well. I wonder if he goes Colossus off this, or does he go for more of like a charge style to start things off? Okay, good pickups there. Saves that Phoenix that got double locked. He could have just picked up 1 and tried to kill it there, and I actually think that might have worked, but decent Marine count is now growing. Of course, 3-rack stim on the way, engineering bay, starport there as well. Very similar work accounts, which bodes well for the Terran. And you can see now the Phoenix comes in the back and he just confirms, yeah, there is indeed an expansion there. If he didn't realize that, then herO really had a bad read on what's happening in this game. I think he should have realized. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that was not a surprise to him. The starport being so late is just such a big tell, man. Turrets going up in each base as well. +1 upgrades on the way. Mass gateway. Wait. Are you serious? You're just going to go 8-gate charge? Oh my god. herO's going to go just Phoenix charge lot all in with no upgrades. I've been doing this a lot recently. And it really feels like a very desperate all-in. It can really surprise the opponent. You got to deny scouting. The scary thing is if Clem sneaks some Marines across the map and like sees that there's no 4th base going down, especially on this map where that's not even a full 3rd base, then that can be very worrisome. But oh, Clem's going out there. Charge is not quite ready. herO's coming in maybe a bit too early. It's a very good start to the fight though, so I think it's totally okay. But with no charge ready, time to pull back, mate. I don't think you can take this fight. He's just going to go for it anyway. herO, the mad lad, just grabs a Cyclone. He pulls back. I mean, these Zealots are cheap, right? You don't really care about losing them too much. He's warping in more charges, about to be finished. But has he given Clem enough warning now? Clem's trying to build a bunker. He's going to pull back into a very defensible position. I feel like once the Terran is aware of what you're doing, he can abuse positioning. And that's exactly what Clem is doing. You can't fight in that mineral line. He's just got to pull back, go for lifts, take a 4th base, and drop 2nd Robo Bay. If herO doesn't make that snap call right now, then he might just be fucked. He's going to go for it. herO cannot contain himself. He's trying to be so aggressive. There is a very good Phoenix count. He's picking up a lot of the Marines, and that's really reducing the firepower here. But it doesn't look like he has enough Zealots, especially with the SCVs hold positioning to block and then attacking in as well. You can see all the Zealots and Sentries go down. He goes back to probing. He's now thinking about the 4th base. He should have done that a little bit earlier. He's got more Zealots here. The Phoenix, I really think need to go for another wave or 2 of SCV damage. He's still trying to focus on killing the army. If you can drag Widow Mines onto him, that could work, but oh my god, he's going to lose a Phoenix there. Very nice Cyclone lock-on, gets that Phoenix. herO kept thinking he was pulling out of range, but he wasn't. Big mistakes for him. And the Bio Army will come on out, but look at that. The Phoenixes and the Zealots going to come forward. Oh, this might be a little ambitious, but it pays off big time. Pull back now. herO, yeah, gets the damage, gets these Marauders. Great trade for herO. Zealots in the main as well. I didn't even catch that. Sorry, guys. They got 5 SCVs up there. herO does need to get splash damage, though. He's building an Oracle right now. He's focusing so hard on the harassment. He's trying to just kill Clem, but he needs to put it back in his pants. There's no way you're going to beat the ball of Marines, are you? Not with Clem's positioning. Maybe you are. Maybe you are. I mean, it all comes down to getting the Zealots onto the Marines. That's the only way you kill this ball. Clem's micro has been very good. Look out for the Widow Mine. Big Widow Mine splash hits all of the Phoenix, but the Medivacs are still alive. Good boost back on the Medivacs. Oh, he loses his Sentry. The Prism will get out along with those Phoenix. Now, there's still no splash damage behind this. The moment you have splash damage here, Clem's position looks absolutely shit. Because look at his production, guys. He's on 3 racks. He's got no add-ons on the 4th and 5th racks. He doesn't have ghosts or anything, and going double forge is 100% the wrong call right now for herO. That I'm going to be critical. You guys know I like to be critical in my cast. I don't think 1-1 upgrades when you're this far behind. He's already got a pretty scary ball of bio that's going to get very scary in the next minute or two. So you're going to have 1-1 upgrades maybe kick in time to help defend that. But you know what? 1-1 Phoenix Zealot, much more important to get Storm, Colossus, something like that. Because the real threat to a Phoenix Zealot army is a big ball of bio that doesn't give you surface area. And guess what counters a big ball of bio? Things that make splash damage. Now, obviously, this is one of the most... It's almost like a meme where anytime a Protoss loses to Terran when they're playing Charge Lot style, everyone in chat goes, why didn't he have splash damage? Even if it's like 6 minutes 30 in the game and you're like, yeah, no, that's like a completely different style. You can't just always... I mean, you know, it's actually a good style, the Zealot Phoenix. But you can definitely be critical and say that in the Twitch chat when the player doesn't transition out for far too long. And, ooh, he's going to lose the Prism. Prism goes down and all the Zealots for just 2 SCVs. Oracle Phoenix coming in. He wants to kill these Vikings. That's what he was looking for. He's going to get them. Storm is on the way behind this, guys, and there's still no Ghost Academy. So you know what? Clem may have recovered his economy, but he needs to go do damage very soon. Because if he doesn't, Storm will kick in. We've got High Templar now gathering up energy. About 1 minute until Storm and Storm energy is available. This is not a very scary army. Clem's just kind of poking around for map control right now. He actually could get jumped on, to be fair. That's a pretty small army. But as his rally comes over, that's where his army actually looks scary. So let's see how this fight goes. It could go either way. herO is only ahead a few workers right now, and his 1-1 upgrades aren't quite finished either. Storm will be ready in about 25 seconds. Oracle with a nice revelation. Yeah, you don't want to fight when he stims. Oh, he's going to track the Widow Mines, or he goes for the pickups, but big Widow Mines land. Oh, he thought with the revelation he could see all the Widow Mines, but there was 2 Widow Mines that were staggered a little bit further back, and he didn't get the lifts on those. And so those Widow Mines actually dropped all the rest of the Widow Mines and allowed massive damage. herO's trying to run back and forwards in battery overcharge. Where the heck is Storm? It's just not here on time, but oh my god! The army takes massive damage there. Clem should absolutely go home. I can't believe he's still over here. He doesn't even have enough hit points to stim. And he does, okay, a very good pickup and boost away to save that army. That there was a really, you could see what I was talking about with 1-1 upgrades aren't going to kick in time, number 1. Number 2, it doesn't matter if they kick in. Having Storm as quickly as possible, like this is, as someone who loves playing overly aggressive like herO in this matchup, you've got to realize the moment you put Terran into that survival mode, they are going to get that big ball of bio up, and you've got to have splash damage at a good timing. Where is this High Templar? Guys, he has no Storm! He didn't remake High Templar at all. Oh no. Oh, herO is just dead, dude. He didn't remake his High Templar. He's got no splash damage. He's only making Archon Zealots and Sentries. EMPs are landing. That bio ball just trying to bait him into running down this ramp. It's comical the way herO is running back and forwards right now. You know he's going to get annihilated, though, if he chases down that ramp. He can't engage this unless he has a flank or something from the side. He has no splash damage up. Battery overcharge will run out. Clem says, okay, battery overcharge is running out. Time to go, son. And, oh man, it's just how do you close with this army? It's such a nimble army for Clem, and your army is just not that clean. He's trying to, like, drop Zealots on top with the Prism. The Prism gets gunned down, filled with units inside it. And Clem is taking some disgustingly efficient fights here. The Bio Ghost Mine just hammering through. And herO, I mean, I think he played a really good game. I feel like he kind of had Clem on the ropes for a little bit there. But Clem has incredible ability to just survive and then micro that bio ball to just beautiful effectiveness. Gets on in here on the 4th base. I mean, there's a few disruptors building, but there's nothing else, man. herO has to tap out. Whoo! Oh, imagine if he had Storm for that push. I feel like that was the scary point of the game. But man, now Clem is up 2-0. Very well played. And Clem's just doing nothing but standard solid play, and he's smashing it. He's down, but he's not out. This is herO. And he's going into Inside Out. Let's see if he can turn this series upside down on Inside Out. It's a smaller map, is Inside Out. I haven't played it much myself. Clem down here in the bottom left. And, okay, it's gonna be interesting. I'm trying to think about, like, features of this map. Like, who's favored here, Pig? And I'm like, I have no idea. I honestly don't know. Okay, so there's a really dirty tank position here, guys. If tanks get there, and the Protoss or the Zerg, whatever, in this case, the Protoss is defending there, it's very hard to get Zealots on those tanks. But if you can just get Stalkers or Immortals here, they can still gun them down. But, like, if it's a very Zealot-focused army, they can't really get in that corner very well. There's also a decent little nook there, and there's a weird position down there as well. This area, I mean, this ramp is definitely tight, but you can come in here with multiple flanking areas. And of course, it seems like there's a push path on this base, but with the rocks here, until those rocks are taken down, it's very roundabout to get up here into the 3rd base. Now that's a double gas opening, guys. herO opening up potentially with a cheese. And it looks like, yeah, he's going to go for a proxy. Okay, meanwhile, he is up against Clem, who's going barracks, gas in the bottom left. Are we going proxy robo, or is this just a straight up just get out an oracle and then go blink behind it? Perhaps is more common these days. I didn't want to call it as a proxy immediately, just because I've seen herO for a while. He used to go double gas, like gate core double gas, and then he'd just drop his nexus at like a minute 50, 2 minutes. And I remember being like, what? This is terrible, isn't it? And he was like, no, I just do a normal macro build. I just take my gases a little earlier than normal, and then I just like take a faster Stargate, and I just have like a little earlier Phoenix than normal and a few less probes. And, you know, he was the one guy who would do that, and people would panic. They'd come in, they'd see that he was on like double gas, they'd be like, oh, we must be proxy void raying, and he'd just take a Nexus once the SCV leaves. So it is going to be a Zealot into an Adept. Stargate is there as well. Clem, he's seen double gas. He hasn't seen the second pylon though. So he should have an idea of what's going on. His command center's already down though. He's got a Reaper coming out. He needs to intercept that Zealot. Factory is going down as well. And here we go. Reaper finds the... Oh, the Zealot does take a hit. He wants that probe kill. Not the best micro from Clem there, guys. You could tell that he left that kind of idling and clicked on it. He also has not seen the Stargate just yet. Wow, let's see how good his Marine micro is. The Marine is going to come on out here and try to lure the Zealot. Oh, I thought he'd try to lure it outside, but apparently not. There we go. He's going to turn and fight. Good micro so far. Zealot lands a hit, though, on one Marine. One hit on the SCV. Oh, great juggling with the SCVs, though, dude. And look at that. The Reaper will finish him off. Does take another half a hit there on the Zealot. The Adept is here, but the bunker finishes just in time. Oh, get inside! Okay, he's going to go straight for a Cyclone here. The Oracle's already almost finished, though, so... I don't know how this works. Does that Oracle actually find any damage? I feel like with such an early Cyclone, I mean, there's going to be a few seconds to do damage, but you don't want to lose the Cyclone for that. herO canceling a unit that he had in production there on the gateway, deciding instead to chrono boost a second Oracle. His Oracle, what is he doing? Oh, he's waiting. He's waiting. Oh, no. Guys, he had an opportunity. He could have got in there and killed like 4 or 5 SCVs. A big opportunity missed for herO, but... he never saw the Stargate. So Clem doesn't know what's going on. The problem for Clem is he might, I was going to say not build a second Cyclone. He also might run this Cyclone out of the map and then 2 Oracles come in and just kill him. This is like a big gamble for herO. It's a big mind game hiding the Oracles, but I think he's kind of saying, hey, let's just wait for it and see what we can do. He's going to go in and go for it. He gets, oh, the Cyclone. Can he mass repair? Oh, nice kill on the Cyclone. Okay. Well, I guess that works out then, guys. My doubts are you know, assuaged there. 2 SCVs, a Mule, and a Cyclone and a Marine. Extra Cyclone is out, but now he's got to keep building those. A third Oracle's on the way as well, so herO is going to be playing the laser style. So the laser style is all about getting so many Oracles that you can just blitz over just about anything. And once you get a first Cyclone kill like that, it's a very big momentum shifter for you. Engineering Bay is on the way. He's trying to build more Cyclones. Is Clem. Clem is just in survival mode right now. And, oh man, Cyclone, Cyclone, Cyclone! Okay, good luck, good luck, good luck. He's got a bunker that he can fall back on, but, I mean, obviously the Cyclone will die. He's going to try and repair. Actually, one of the Oracles ran out of energy. Oh, if Clem repaired that, dude, if Clem repaired that, he actually could have survived if he repaired with a few more SCVs because there was only one Oracle shooting it. I think Clem with a bit of a missed opportunity there due to the fact that herO just didn't have enough energy. So here we go. Reaper's going to come out now, and there is indeed another Oracle on the way. Third Nexus is on the way, though. You got to remember that Clem still, even though his SCV count is, you know, it's pretty similar, his SCV count, but he doesn't have a tech lab. He doesn't have stim, no starport. He is going to afford +1 upgrade momentarily, and a very important Reaper scout. He sees the third Nexus on the way. That gives him some really valuable information. So it's going to be Blink coming up after. So we got 3 Oracles. It looks like he's done at 3. He's going to build a forward gateway so he can get some Blink pressure going as well. Now, 2 Cyclones are out. Stim is finally starting. And he's going to go Starport and Reactor. So the thing is, so Clem is not going to have Siege Tanks to fall back on. The Oracles are just diving again! Clem with a little bit of a slow reaction. Oh no, he's going to lose. Oh, he's got to kill that Oracle. He focus fires it with the Marine that pops out, manages to get the other Oracle. Thank the Lord. If he didn't kill that, he was screwed. But the problem is he's lost his Cyclones, guys, and they were his only ranged damage. Now, Clem is so worried about just getting up Stim Bio. He does not realize, and he misses it. Oh, he misses the Stalkers warping in. So he's going to have just Bio up against Blink Stalkers. Now, that can work out if you've got enough Marauders. But, guys, he's only building his first Marauder now. His Stim's not done. His second Tech Lab's not done. He desperately needs to be building tanks. Instead, he's trying to set up for medevac production, which is really good a few minutes from now. Right now, he needs tanks just to survive against the Blink Stalker onslaught. 53 probes, but a ton of Blink Stalkers. If he loses this bunker, and oh no, the command center is actually blocking him from repair. If he loses that bunker, he's straight up dead. He's going to need to pull SCVs here as well. The Oracle comes in, the Stalkers thinking about blinking in. You don't really know if Stim's done or not as herO here. He blinks on in like a madman. The Marine Marauder tries to punish, but look at that. Focuses down the Marauder, and he can start to now blink back the Stalkers as they take damage. Oh, these are fantastic trades for herO right here. Gets a bunch of Marines and 3 SCVs. Reaper is still going to be microed even in the midst of this. Remember, he's building medevacs. He's trying to get a reactor out, which means he's got no ability to build siege tanks, nothing in the bunker, and even if he had stuff there, he wouldn't be able to pull to repair because that command center placement sucks. He just had nowhere to build it. Maybe he could have popped it in the back of his base. These Stalkers are tearing Clem apart. His Stim finishes finally. Can he Stim on top of this? Maybe, just maybe he can. The Oracle is there. It's getting exposed, but herO, he's going to lose one of these units. 2 Stalkers do go down. Very good hold for Clem, but he's still in a vulnerable position up against a 64 probe Protoss. He's only on 48 SCVs. His third command center is almost finished, though. Still feels like Clem actually could make a game of this. He's fragile, right? Every Stim, he can't really recover from that very easily. Gets another Stalker down. Can he get another one? Yes, he can. And, ooh, not able to get a third one. This is costing him units, though. And look at this. herO not ready to chill. He's just going to keep going because he's herO and he has a permanent erection. Being unable to contain himself literally ever. Gets a Marauder there. Clem tries to save it with the medevac. Not able to do it. herO is one of the most annoying players. And he's not only picked off a Marauder, but he's making the army stim. And every time it stims, there's less medevac healing for the future. He finally finds this gateway here. I can't believe he's attacking in here is herO. herO, the savage, goes in the natural and the third at the same time. Those Stalkers go down. The forward gateway gets taken out. But look at this. He's finding damage left, right, and center. And once again, he forces the whole army to stim. And more Stalkers coming in from the left. They're going to catch those Widow Mines. It's just utter chaos. This is exactly what herO wants to do to take advantage of his opponent. He's got charge as well. So at any moment, he can start warping in Zealots on that top left side. He's on 6 warp gates up. Should be 7 in just a moment. You can see all of these gateways finishing right now. So he's up on 7 gateways and he's warping in DTs as well with Blink on the way. I mean, Clem is so close to stabilizing at so many points in this game. He's building an armory, 2nd engineering bay. He's up to 5 barracks, but he spent so much medevac energy stimming. He's got to be really careful. He doesn't have turrets, and DTs are going to walk in. He just dropped mules. He just dropped 3 mules as the DTs walk in. That's good game. He also dropped a scan on the 3rd, and the DTs now come in, drops 2 in the main. 1 walks into the 3rd, 1 in the natural, and he's just completely dead. There's nothing he can do. Having been that far away from having any detection, the turrets are getting focused down. He's losing reactors on his buildings. I mean, this is about the worst case scenario. There's always an element of luck. If you're a Terran who doesn't know DTs are coming, the moment they walk in, it's always like, where does that fall? in terms of where your energy is, in terms of where you've, like how recently did you drop mules? And if you happen to have just dropped mules, well, guess what? You just got the short stick. I mean, you just got the short stick. You just got the Protos's dick. And you were not looking forward to it. It's really, it's just the worst feeling. But this was all set up off the fact that, of course, herO was so powerfully aggressive, and on top of him, ooh, gets the warp prism. But good blink away. herO's going to evade. These Marines could get taken out. He's going to try and gun them down, but he gets punished for that. And herO, he's got a big mass of blink stalkers there. But look at that. He's just got too many units, man. There's just too much Protoss. Mass blink stalker immortal. And he's just going to blink forward and say, there is no escape from me, buddy. Sorry, guys, bad observing. The Oracle does go down, but more Zealots coming in. This army is so small. The Widowmine's trying to burrow there. One of them does get a pretty juicy shot off. I think Clem right now, he's still just in survival mode. herO has not transitioned probes from his main, despite that being mined out for 2 minutes. Definitely needs to get those over to his 4th base. There we go, does fix that up. The chaotic player that herO is, finding success in this game and keeping himself alive in the series. Clem hanging on for dear life. He's adding a Ghost Academy. He's adding a gas. He's trying to just keep pumping units out off this 5 barracks. He's going to build a 4th command center here. I think more important than that is for him to not miss a beat on his production, and he's actually lost an add-on on that barracks. He rebuilt the reactor on the medevac. Remember, he lost a lot of production from the Dark Templar earlier. Somehow, it still feels like against this composition, he could make it work, but herO is not done yet. There's more DT backstabs, and there's double Robo Disruptor, and the upgrades are continuing. It's the combination of all these factors that creates such a disastrous situation for Clem. DT is blinking into the mineral line. He's going to go after the SCVs. He's going to try and blink up the ramp here, but can he get over the depot? He gets to the high ground, does get one of those Dark Templar inside the main base. At the same time, he dives in on the 3rd and kills a few SCVs there. Bio comes forward and manages to snag an Immortal, but that does put him in the clutches of those army. The Stalker focusing on these. The Disruptor! Beautiful dodge on the Disruptor! He manages to kick herO right in the nuts there with the other one as well, but there's more Zealots and DTs warping in the main. The Bio tries to punish him on the front, but that means the Zealot Stalker turns around. He gets an Immortal, but guess what? There's more Zealots in your main base and DTs. I mean, this is just, herO is everywhere. Everywhere, every Protoss unit, all at once, causing absolute havoc. And I'm telling you, this has got to be so frustrating to deal with. Clem's mechanics almost keeping him alive here in a situation where most players would have crumbled about 4 or 5 minutes ago. But you can see that herO's like hitting where you do not want to be hit. I'm not just going to fight you front on where you can just out micro me with Stem Bio, because that's such a nimble microable composition. But if I use positioning to make it as difficult for you as possible, always hitting in multiple areas, always forcing you to overstim, stim, and then just run away. Come back in from a different angle, force you to stim, run away, pick off units. herO there with a masterful, chaotic, overwhelming style on Inside Out, and he gets a point on the board. Alright, let's go! The series ain't over, mate. The Master of Chaos is back, and he's showing he's got some dirty tricks up his sleeve. herO in the top left side of the map there, getting some great damage done with not just the first Oracle, but waiting for 2 Oracles and then going in at the same time. I love that genius move where he's just like, yeah, you know I'm proxying you, so if I just fly in with 1 Oracle, you'll be ready for it, but will you be ready for the second one? And that's where they get that lethality to just gun down Cyclones really quickly, excuse me. Now, interestingly, is he proxying or thinking about taking the gold base? Oh my lord. Clem going for barracks gas. Now, Clem has been scouting on 18 supplies, so not this SCV, but that SCV. It's a very late scout where you see if something's coming, but you only see after you've committed to your command center. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what the hell herO has planned here, because to me, this looks like he's just going to take the gold, use that income boost, and do a big dirty all-in, man. And I got to say, it's not a bad way to play, man. Okay, so he's going to start... Oh, it's a second gateway. Okay, so he's going gate plus a proxy gate. It's not a very close proxy gate, but still... Oh, SCV might see you. You're coming in from a very suspicious angle. Oh. Oh. Clem sees it. Clem. I don't know if he noticed it. Guys, I don't think Clem noticed that. Right? Oh, I don't think Clem noticed that. So Clem got vision for a moment, but I don't think he actually, it registered, and he's actually pausing production to get a very quick factory. Normally a really good build for doing forward pressure, but now he sees no expansion, and he immediately is like, oh shit. Immediately starts building Marines. He's going to build a bunker now as well. There's no Zealot, interestingly, with this. It's just double Adept for now. Bunker goes down ASAP. Now, seeing no gas there, he should immediately go to the bottom left and check for the gold base, because it's got to be Proxy Gate or a Nexus, one or the other. But Clem, it's a new map. He might just not be thinking about that gold base. Clem, you got to check for the gold, my man. You can't just check for the expansion here. Because the thing is, if there's no gas, you know, it can't be like Stargate or like super fast robo proxy or like anything that costs a whole bunch of gas to get going. And he's going to go for an eBay block. Oh, this is terrible. It's a gold nexus. And here he is being like, oh, I'm blocking you from expanding. How smart am I? Clem having no realization of what situation he's in here. And we're about to see a whole lot of probes get recalled down to this. So that Nexus is almost finished. He's going to recall a shitload of probes down there. The Adepts, I don't know if they're really going to find any damage here. SCV comes in. He sees still no gas mining. I mean, he should see the recall on the probes. SCV ready. herO, yeah, herO doesn't even screw around. He literally just like, I'll do it in your face. Just recalls the probes in his face. No secrecy. Oh no, he just sold his bunker. Oh, fuck me. Clem! He sells his bunker. He's like, oh, it was a Nexus this whole time. No, it was a Nexus and a second gateway. Clem with the misread. Oh, no, he loses 5 Marines, and he's going to lose every SCV here as well. The Cyclone will eventually punish this. And he lets his Cyclone... Okay, the lock-on's fine because it does maintain that beyond the shade. Didn't realize that's how that worked. And he should be able to take out the Adept. You don't want to lose these SCVs. He does finally get rid of the Adepts, but not before some damage has gone in. herO here, of course, with a permanent boner trying to get more damage done. His Adept is going to have to shade out and barely escapes there, at least for now. Cyclone could potentially hunt those down. Stalkers are warping in. We've got a Robo and a Twilight. Tech is very late for herO, but the income is off the chain, man. He's got sick mineral income right now. You might be like, oh, but the income's fine. Yeah, that's with 2 mules. Mules are not constant. They will expire, and then we're going to see a massive income advantage for herO. He's already got this great forward pressure. The Cyclones will keep him back for now, but selling that bunker, such a huge mistake for Clem. I feel like if he didn't sell that, he definitely had a chance to get back in this game, but now it's like, oh man, you are miles behind. Now, that being said, herO's not got the money to get an upgrade yet. So herO's build is not really lining up correctly. You can see it's a bit of a mess. He's got a bunch of Stalkers and Adepts, but he's got no Blink or Charge on the way. Here we go, though. Adept Stalker's just going to run right on in. The SCVs need to get out of here, man. And oh my god. Okay, he's got a tank on the high ground as a bit of an anchor. Cyclone's trying to hang on as best he can. Good lock-on damage gets 2 Adepts. He's got to pull these SCVs away, though. They are very vulnerable, and he's got to try and repair this Cyclone as best he can. The tank just doesn't cover that much here, and this command center needs to leave. It needs to leave. He's trying to get this Cyclone down to lock on, but he can't because the SCVs are blocking it. He's got to move down now, and you can see it's very hard to get on down here. Tank with a nice siege position. Good Cyclone lock-ons. Will get rid of 1 Adept. The Stalker's pulling back, though. DT Shrine! He doesn't even go for Blink. Prism in the back door as well. Oh, he's got triple Adept warping in the back door. This is a dirty, dirty play right now. The Depot sees it, but Clem is in absolute chaos right now. herO bringing out his dirty tricks. The Adept's going to go in for a snipey snipe. They get an SCV, another SCV, and another SCV. herO has managed to take this straight out of standard PvT into the dark place. That's right. I feel like herO's gone full Demogorgon. He's taken this series to the upside down. He's turned it inside out and made it all gross. And Clem, I mean, he'd love a nice, clean, pristine TVP. herO right now is just vomiting crazy, weird shit at him. I mean, why is there a Prism here at this timing? Why is there this random Stalker Adept pressure? There's no Blink or Charge, but it's just constant waves of Adepts and Stalkers. It's just, he's barely hanging on for dear life. And there's DTs warping in. One's going to walk in the front, one's going to warp in and drop inside the main. He does not have a turret. And do not drop this scan. Do not drop this mule. Do not drop this mule. Clem, do not drop this mule. Do not drop this mule. Okay, buddy? Oh, he sees the prism come in. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe he can hang on, but DT on the front line is going to cause him trouble. Oh no. Oh, the SCV is being pulled from the natural. He's trying to defend the main base. He tries to scan in there. He does get rid of the prism and 2 DTs, making the best of a bad situation. That DT is going to get a tank as well. So 2 tanks go down, but the DTs will all die, as will the warp prism. He only gets 3 SCVs. This is probably the best case scenario here for young Clem. Problem for him is the 3rd base is going up, but actually it's just started. And remember, the gold base mines out very quickly. So if you don't use that temporary income boost to quickly take a 3rd and a 4th base, then you actually can end up kind of like just gassing out very quickly. The gold base, it's a temporary boost. If you don't use it to kill your opponent or to secure those extra bases, you can end up in trouble. Right now though, Clem has no anchor to his force. Stim and Shields is not quite ready just yet. But man, Clem's Reaper is still out there being annoying. Still scouting what's going on. It looks like finally it's going to get shut down after all this time. But he sees there's a 3rd base. Cyclones come out. They're going to finally push back these Adepts that have been giving so much information to herO. Very well done. 2 Adepts going down. More DT. So he's going to do another DT drop. Stim is now finished. Shield's almost done. 3rd CC does start up here for Clem. He says, your 3rd's finishing. Well, mine's starting. That's not too bad usually as a Terran player. And I feel like Clem, once again, is just getting his head shoved inside the washing machine. And he's getting banged around, and yet somehow he's coming out of it. I don't know if he got dropped on his head a bunch as a kid, and therefore he's very durable and used to it. But somehow Clem seems to have more survivability than just about any other Terran player out there in these spots. These DTs getting surrounded by the SCVs and the Cyclone, they blink back. This one here gets killed in the natural as well. The Cyclone did not end up dying. Random F2 Stalker rallies into the base. herO is going to morph an Archon. He's going to keep going. He's going to go charge lot Zealot. So he's planning a little poking army on the front to defend, and then he's going to go in with an Archon Zealot run by the Archon. Obviously can't fit in the prism though, so what's he going to do? Just walk it in the base. Super random setup right now for herO. He does have a battery on the left side that he can fall back to. That's his saving grace. Charge lots are in the main base. He's going to warp in even more. This is very scary for Clem. That Widow Mine could do a lot of friendly fire as well. He targets it on the prism though. Very nice target fire at the same time as defending his main base. Yes, he's losing a lot of SCVs, but great force fields for herO. Traps about 3 or 4 Marines there. Does hold on to the 3rd. The Archon randomly has arrived at the front. It's going to kill a barracks. He forces a barracks to cancel. He's actually doing a fair bit of damage. Losing an Archon's very expensive, but Clem with a nice Marauder hot pickup to save it. Clem is somehow surviving such an unforgiving situation, but it's not done yet. herO, 55 workers. He's got this 3rd up and full. This base, like I said, guys, it's half mined out. He doesn't have a 4th base up. herO is trying to use this to kill Clem. He is not using it to set up for the future economic advantage. Right now, he's ahead, but for how long? The bio army comes forward. His medevac's super low on juice, and that's part of how herO wears him down, remember, is the fact that he does just keep him stimmed and keeps him skirmishing for so long that eventually the medevacs run out of energy. The bio cannot keep itself healed up. DTs are being dickheads right now. Oh my god. The blink into the main there is actually brutal. And look, he's going to attack the front at the same time. Oh, herO, you're such a dirty piece of shit. I love it. He's running DTs, blinking them on the high ground, the low ground. There's no scans available for that moment. And he just shoves in the front. And Clem's like, God damn it. But let's be real, guys. This one all came back to that beginning where Clem had a big misread on what was going on. I just want to break down that scouting info really quickly for you guys before we move on to game 5, which will be the deciding match now. When you come in and you see no gas, it has to be Nexus or a proxy gate, right? Now, he ends up thinking, ooh, it's a proxy gate, so I'll hang around here and then I'll block your follow-up expansion. My bunker will defend me. And actually, it ends up being a disaster because even though this is all still playable, but actually it's this scout which ruins Clem in this game. This is one of those moments where he just has a snap call. He says, oh, it wasn't a 2-gate. It was an expand this whole time. And he knows this. Why does he know this, guys? Because a 2-gate Adept or Stalker pressure would have already hit him by 3 minutes. So Clem makes the intelligent call here, where he just says, oh, okay, so I don't need the bunker. Let's just put all my money into economy. We've got a Cyclone, more Marines on the way. We can sell that. I'm already in a bit of trouble because I didn't build the reactor. And as he clicks it, the Adepts show up. And Clem is like, what the fuck? And guys, I want to point out, this is because most people, if they do a proxy gate, it's here or here. It's much closer. It's not all the way in the corner. So he assumed this should have already hit me by now. I should have already seen 2 or 3 gateway units at my base. There's no way it could be this build. It was actually just a much quicker nexus than I realized. And he got the misread simply because herO built this as a weird herO gate. It's not a full proxy gate, it's a half proxy gate, which herO can also use to defend this base later on, as well as kind of for a little bit of light pressure here. This is not a big pressure, 3 adepts at 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Remember, if you do the parting build, guys, you can be shading in 5 adepts at 3 minutes 30. Because you've already got 2, and then you warp in 3 more adepts at 3:18, right? If you do the triple chronos with that build that Harston did that video on ages ago. So this is just one of those things where Clem's like, oh, what the shit? And it's just this slight variation that he's never seen before with a gateway proxied, then a nexus built at it. And you can see how his own high level understanding bites him in the ass here. This bunker cell really was just such a heartbreaking mistake for Clem in this game. GG, well played. All right, guys, let's go into game 5. This series starting to slip away from him. He's going to swap it up with a gas first build. He's going to see if he can stop the avalanche that's getting out of control. His opponent's been tricking him with weird stuff in that last game. The game before that as well. The proxy Oracle diving on his cyclones. I really do think there was a moment where if he mass repaired a little bit quicker back on inside out, you know, he could have stopped the Oracles getting so much damage, but bit of an unfortunate turn. We'll see what he does, though. Clem here is going to be going eBay block. And look at that. The probe leaves, and now his SCV goes in. A lot of people used to start the eBay block earlier, but I noticed people are coming in and starting it closer to 1:10 these days, so that it's harder for them to scout. It's actually super sick. Unfortunately for him, herO's going double gas. herO's just going proxy Oracle. Oh my god. Okay, so herO's build order is kind of fantastic here. I mean, not knowing about this is a problem. He does need to, but if he might build a Zealot anyway, just because herO likes to build a Zealot with this build, and he does. So herO starts a Zealot anyway, which means he's going to automatically have the unit ready to clear this up. Clem comes in and is like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? I mean, don't get me wrong, Clem was planning to go factory before expansion either way here, so it doesn't change too much of his build. He's going to come in and confirm that the Zealot pops out as well. That's what this SCV is all about, guys. He's checking, are you pretending to build a Zealot, or are you actually going to be building a Zealot? And the Zealot does get cancelled. He sees that. So Clem will be aware he is being proxied now. Stargate's coming in. Super quick factory. And he's actually going Tech Lab on the barracks, so he can just swap over and start building Cyclones immediately. Now, you're going to have to be careful as Clem, because it's going to be like 1 Cyclone versus 1 Oracle, you know, and 1 Adept. He can't let his Cyclone lock onto the Adepts and then have the Oracle run in and kill him. That's what he's got to watch out the most for. Obviously, we could see a mind game. herO could just go Phoenix here since he's kind of been scouted. But no expansion started for either side. It's a 1 base versus 1 base war, and he's not... Oh, he's missing the Stargate proxy. This map has so many proxy locations, so not entirely surprising. herO's just going to take his 3rd base. Okie dokie. I think Oracle into Blink is the best way to play. If you're taking a 3rd base rather than your natural, yeah. He's going to go straight for the Oracle. The Adept comes out. It's going to go across the map. SCV is going to come back in and confirm. Yep, you took the 3rd base, so Clem knows that. He's got his own command center started on the high ground. He's going to start a reactor so he can double up that marine production. And as long as he just keeps on building Cyclones, he should be in a very good stead. Notice he stays single gas here. And there is a little bit of downtime on Cyclone production because he is short on gas, but only a little bit. And that's just kind of, you know, he's trying to push his build as far as he possibly can. First Oracle's coming across the map and already a Twilight Council. So yeah, herO's going to play the Blink after Oracle because it's a very mobile style. Allows him to contest with the fact that his 3rd base is so very exposed. It's 26 probes versus 25 SCVs. Feels like a very even game so far. Second Cyclone on the way. The problem always here is, as Clem, psychologically, you're in a bit of a tough position because you know your opponent is the kind of guy who's just, he thrives in chaos and he's going to do high variance plays, even when it's match point like this. And as Clem, you're like, man, I would just like to have a skillful, you know, execution-focused match where I out-micro you. And the thing is, let's be real, there's 2 reasons why herO doesn't want that. Number 1, Clem's a god of micro, and he's one of the best mechanical players in the world, if not the best. I think he might be better than Raynor, who otherwise is probably the best. So I really think Clem is one of the best mechanical players. The other thing is the fact that herO's playing Protoss, and you just got to remember, Protoss Zerg, your goal is not to just get into a straight-up front-on micro war with Terran. The Terran players have the more microable units. They have some of the most nimble, like Bio with Stim, Stutter Step, Focus Fire, these high damage long range units. You don't want to fight them on their terms. In general, the other races have some good tricks, but it's kind of like you're the you're the barbarian warriors, or you're the more melee focused team. You've maybe got some good tricks as Protoss or so. But the Terrans simply have the straight up assault rifles beat your silly knife tactics if you fight in a straight up way. It's all about sneaking up behind the Terran and trying to punch him in the dick most of the time. Now, Stalkers will catch this SCV. He sees there's no third yet though. So he's got, what, 2 barracks in a factory pumping out bio tank. As long as he keeps building tanks, he should be good. Great stasis trap though. That could be huge. And he's building Stalkers on the front. So this is a 4-gate blink Oracle assault. And the tank's a little far back. I mean, it's very safe there. But he swapped the factory. Guys, he's only got 2 barracks and he swapped the factory off. Now, as long as he keeps his Cyclones alive, they will add a bit of ranged firepower to punish Blinkins. But with only 1 siege tank, that's nowhere near as safe as 2. And whilst he's got a good Marine count coming out, and he will have Stim soon. I mean, with Stim, he might be able to just Stim on top and punish. It really depends. Okay, he's going to hit the main first. That's a really good choice for herO. He's just going to blink on up. These Marines on their own need to pull back. Get out of there, Marines. They do not want to be fighting their own. Adept Shade into the back of the natural. The tank should deal with those. The SCVs are fighting against it, but actually the tank unsieges. The Bio Stims forward. Not a good choice. Clem needed to keep those units alive. The Adept does get taken out by the Siege Tank and the SCVs. A few of the Stalkers go down. I say a few, not a single one. 8 Marines and 4 SCVs have already fallen in this fight. The Cyclones were trapped that whole time. One of the Cyclones gets blinked on. Oh, he only gets one of the Stalkers. A lot of the Stalkers are very weak right now. But you can see with the Revelation, hero's like, oh, I see that you're not quite ready to defend. A lot more Marines and Marauders are still pumping out, though. I think Clem should be fine here. Now that I think about it, he's just got to be careful. He can't lose that Siege Tank. The Bio and the Cyclone move in front, and a good blink back for herO. But Clem, every single time he stims like this, it's irrecoverable. His medevacs are there. He's got a lot of SCVs ready to repair, but he needs to move his units down here as well. And oh, here we go. The Stalker's coming in. Nice blink backs from herO, and he gets the bunker. Very well done. Can he get some more units? He gets a few Marines and 1 or 2 SCVs as well. But it does look like Clem is stabilized. Problem for him, of course, is that his third hasn't started, and the third is now finished. So herO not only has a big pack of Blink Stalkers, as long as he doesn't throw them away but keeps them alive, it's a great renewable resource for harassing his opponent, and he should probe up and try to get to that next step behind it. Look at this, he's just picking off units. Where's the Siege Tank? It's up in the main still. Without a Siege Tank to anchor this position and punish herO, you can just see how much of a nightmare this is. The Stalkers are just getting so many pickoffs. And he's still only lost 2 Stalkers for 16 Marines, 3 Marauders, 2 Cyclones, 5 SCVs, and a bunker. Oh my god, the mass Blink Stalker assault is just out of control. The Oracle Revelation is huge. The tank comes down here, but with only, you can imagine if he just had a second Siege Tank, this is an entirely different game. Clem cuts just a little bit of a corner here on this map, and on these new maps that have such wide spread between the bases, I think you always need the second Siege Tank. The value is out of this world. All the Stalkers have regenerated their shields. They just have done too much. Clem, he's got a 3rd CC starting. He's trying to move a tank forward, seeing if he can get some shots off. But look at that. Just good choice to blink back here. He does lose like 3 Stalkers there, maybe 2, I guess. Oh, only 1 extra Stalker, actually. Damn. And that is just a crazy units lost tab. So he's going to go for a Widow Mine drop, one of the best ways to try and get yourself back in a game when behind. There's a Stargate up there, of course, the Gateway on the other side. The tank and the Bio moving in. He's just got to go forward. Clem just has to fight this. He's going to try and jump on top. But you know, he's running away. I think he needed to pull the SCVs and just fight there. He saw the Zealots coming in, though, and he thought, oh, no, I'm getting all in. I have to pull back. He's got to punish these Stalkers for such ambitious moves. He's so far behind economically. He's got to punish these Stalkers, but the Zealots filtering in the blink back micro. herO is just absolutely disgusting. The forward pressure is never ending. The SCVs get funneled in and killed, and herO just says proxy Oracle, doesn't even need to find damage. It just messes up the opening, puts you in the dark, and then guess what? You're a Terran player. You are eager to get out on the map and get some counter damage. Well, time to do some mass blink pressure, and dude, those first waves were just monsters. Let's look at where things got out of control with the very first wave of pressure one more time. So this is actually such a bummer for Clem, because check this out. The Adepts are kind of scouting the setup, and he's like, oh, okay, you got a tank and a bunker on the natural and 2 Cyclones. Of course I'll go towards the main. And look at that. The Cyclones go out to get some kills on the Adepts. They get stasis trapped, so they're just removed from the fight. And then these Marines, you know, Stim's just finished, but he doesn't quite have all of his units together, and he does stim some of them, but they're so vulnerable, they're so weak this early on. And look at that, herO pulling back the weak units here, blinking them to the low ground. All the SCVs were attacking into a choke point during this as well. And just the fact that he's only got one tank. He's like, dude, if I get these medevacs swapped over and everything, I'll be in a good spot. But with no information of what's going on, I think we see why the second siege tank is so valuable. Just having one siege tank here as well, and it completely shuts down herO's ability to do this. Because if herO wants to actually start creating trades like this, he needs to blink in and kill the siege tank. And guess what? You're going to get stimmed on and annihilated by the Marine Marauder. If you use your blink aggressively, you're going to get killed by that. But Clem, he cut a little bit of a corner in the follow-up to that early stage and tried to get the medevacs and the +1 and the stim bio so that he could be the one dictating the aggression and the pace of the game. And herO just says, no, 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 no. And his micro was so good, even just being so patient with times like that, losing so few units and getting value after value. And as Clem, I mean, what do you do here? Like, should he have swapped his factory back on the tech lab to do that? Should he have spread his units a little better? It's so difficult because he doesn't know if the stalkers are still here in the dead space or not. And the stalkers, the Oracle constantly scouting, able to get so much information and always pick where the right spot is to find. Look at that, just pulling back the weak ones. Delicious effectiveness. And herO, man, fighting back from down 0-2. He ends up beating Clem 3-2 there. Just beautiful aggression by herO, and picks apart the player who was looking like a dominant player at the start of the series. Well played, herO. God Protoss goes to the semi-finals of Valencia.